Hello guys, Jerry speaking. Welcome to LJPCBM episode number 878, and today we're reacting to episode number 23 of OddGamer, Mania. React to this beginning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
To announce that this channel has a Discord. Before today's video, I want to announce that this channel has a Discord and Patreon page for you guys to support the channel. By clicking the links in the description below, you too be a part of the Fairly OddGamer family.
Wow, I'm getting ready to start donating him as soon as I can. But right now, I'm going to be honest with Lucas, aka Gamer Hux, at this point forward. I'm going to do it Wednesday, so be on the lookout for this. Continue on.
Very much, and enjoy the review. Thank you.
Wow. Fairly OddGamer and Mania, okay, makes sense. Tarot card designed by Aubrey Hearts. Okay, continue on. Anyway.
Hello, Internet viewers. I'm the Fairly OddGamer. As you can see, I'm in an area that looks the same as it was before, but slightly different.
Okay.
As you can tell, I once again moved to another house. That's not the point, though. The point is that I'm still in here reviewing games for you guys. Let's not wait any longer and get to work on today's review. Now, you may be asking what the topic for today's game is. Well, for the title of this video, you probably know what it is already. That's right. It's the return of Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
The last time I talked about Mickey Mouse was an NES game called Mickey Mouse Capade, or Mickey Mouse for the Famicom in Japan.
Wow.
As I recall, it was an early Disney game by Capcom, if not the earliest, as well as Hudson Soft.
Which now, like I said, 2 episodes ago, or 3 episodes ago, excuse me, the game called Adventure Island. If you watch this remix for your buddy, continue on.
Though it looked and sounded nice for an NES game, it was about as difficult as a typical Mega Man game. Since then, Mickey has appeared in tons of other games for multiple consoles, like the Atari, Game Boy, DOS computers, and even the Sega Genesis. Speaking of the Genesis, Mickey has appeared in games from that very console, such as Fantasia in 1991 and Castle of Illusion the year before. I should look at that at some point. But there was one Mickey Mouse game that would stand out as one of the most successful Mickey Mouse games of all time. That game is Mickey Mania, or it's fully titled Mickey Mania: The Timeless Adventures of Mickey Mouse. But before I get to the game, there are a few things I want to talk about. Originally, Mickey Mania was planned to be released a year earlier in celebration of Mickey's 65th birthday. Unfortunately, it was then scrapped because not only would it take the developers 6 months to make, but they were also in favor of a more compelling concept of paying tribute to the early cartoon career of Mickey Mouse himself. And another reason why this game was compelling was because this game was actually the debut project of someone who would eventually become a well-known game designer. Originally a game tester for Cliffhanger and Skyblazer, David Jaffe would later design games for both God of War and the Twisted Metal franchise.
Wait. This kind of reminds me of ABGN, the movie difference. Continue on.
In fact, the first Twisted Metal game came out a year after Mickey Mania was released. Who would have thought? But going back to Mickey Mania, it was released in 1994 for the Super NES, Genesis, and the not-so-well-known Sega CD. But it was also released in Europe 2 years later for the PlayStation 1 under the name Mickey's Wild Adventure. Which version will I be looking at for the review? Well, seeing that the Super NES version has a bit of screen crunch, I have no way of playing the PS1 version, and I don't own a Sega CD yet. I'll be reviewing the Genesis version. I actually managed to snag this at MomoCon last year. Oh, how I missed going to that con.
Yeah, at a time, yes, I have been at that con. This is my first time being at MomoCon in 2022. And yes, I've been at con once. That was it. I never met with Lucas before in my life, and these costumes yet. But we'll see what happens. It's very virtual con this year because the con going pandemic. Yeah, I have to agree with Lucas in this one. Continue on.
But does this game still hold up after 15 plus years? Let's pop this baby in and find out.
Okay, makes sense.
After Magical Pencil draws out the Sega logo, we see that the game was published by Sony Imagesoft and was developed by Traveler's Tales. So Traveler's Tales at that point developed the video game tie-in of the 1992 Coppola film Bram Stoker's Dracula for both the Super NES and Genesis. They would later develop the tie-in games based on some of the Pixar movies.
Yes, even this game, yeah. And yes, as my friend Future Gaming AK, David Colley did it, play Mickey Mania, which I did donate to his charity of Patreon for this, and yes, by the way, which is huge enough, but, yeah, it was kind of difficult for him to play. He said, you only even play it twice? What kind of manage that difference? But that's just me. You'll see the ending of that. Continue on.
So what's the object of this game, you may ask? Well, believe it or not, the game actually shows you the aim of the game. Rescue Pluto and defeat the biggest, meanest Pete anyone has ever seen as Mickey travels through some of the greatest cartoon adventures of his career. So let's not wait any longer and get this game started with Steamboat Willie. Not only was this the first ever cartoon made with synchronized sound, but it was also the first ever appearances of Mickey Mouse himself. For starters, Mickey Mania is a standard platformer with a bit of 3D graphics, and you can play as Mickey throughout the entire game. You can jump with either the A or C button and throw with the B button. Throw what exactly? Marbles. It's like Aladdin to the same console, only not with apples. Marbles are pretty much your projectiles, and you can find them scattered around each level. You can attack by either throwing marbles or by jumping on top of enemies. There's also Mickey's glove, which is basically the game's hit meter. Getting hit 5 times causes Mickey to die, which results in him having to restart from either the beginning of that area or where you last reach one of these rockets. Think of them as the game's checkpoints. You can also collect these stars that give you extra hit points, as well as Mickey hats that earn you extra lives. So with that said, I actually like the movie scroll at the very start of the game. It's actually pretty clever in my opinion. Anyway, you see these musical notes from a goat that actually damage you for some reason, but thankfully you can prevent that by shoving a cork up the goat's throat. While on a speedboat, you have to avoid these puffs of smoke, which thankfully stop when you're close to them, like Mario when he stands on top of a pipe. Next is to find Steamboat Mickey, who is shocked to see his future self. And afterwards you jump onto a cat that crashes into the boat. Thankfully, you find secret stars that give you extra hit points. So after being carried by a crane while standing on a box, Mickey then makes his way to the wharf. This is where I first find the marbles that I talked about before, along with these wrecking balls. It's also where you'll first encounter Burrs as well as Peg Leg Pete, without his peg leg. So Mickey has to jump onto windowsills and ring the 4 bells upon the top floor. By the way, I like to point out that this level will slowly change from black and white to color. It really is a nice touch. After that's done, you can then fight Pete. You can actually defeat Pete in the same way you would with other enemies, by throwing marbles or by jumping onto him. I wouldn't say he's a boss per se, just more of a mini-boss in my opinion. Once Pete is defeated, you can actually use his humongous stomach as a bounce pad. It's actually hilarious the more I think about it.
Did I hear somebody say my name?
Pete?
Boy, oh boy, aren't you a lucky guy?
Oh, God.
I see. Anyway, what are you doing here?
Well, I couldn't help but notice.
Mari!
Excuse me, pal. What exactly is that?
Well, I just managed to defeat you, and now I'm able to use your belly as a spring.
Oh, I see. Wait a minute. Is that Mickey Mania you're playing?
Why, yes. Yes, it is.
Now that I remember very fondly. Well, I'd better get going. Let me know if you need me for anything.
Sure thing, Pete. So Mickey makes his way to the other side of the wharf via windowsill while avoiding falling boxes. And then we encounter the first boss of the game, these cranes that carry boxes with bombs and a spring. In order to stop the cranes, you have to destroy these gears by throwing marbles at them. Also, you have to jump on the springs in order to throw marbles at the upper gears. In addition, you can push the spring left or right depending on what gear you're aiming at. Once all the gears are destroyed, you'll then be able to rescue Steamboat Mickey and therefore end the level. On to the next level, the Mad Doctor. And believe it or not, the level starts off with bats.
The great survivor.
Just like Aladdin in the
Well, the Batman the Dracula review, Bob Show. Continue on.
For the Genesis, these bats can come out of nowhere at times, but sometimes they can be noticeable once you're indoors. Anyway, Mickey makes his way to the castle entrance while a bridge collapses in the same way as the cartoon. Again, nice touch. While inside the castle, Mickey encounters skeletons that explode, almost similar to that of Aladdin but without the bombs. It even has these spider skeletons, also from the cartoon, which can also be used to rope string over fire pits after defeating said spiders.
Makes sense.
So Mickey enters a pipe where he then has to ride a train cart while avoiding buzzsaws, spikes, and jumping over acid pits to another train cart.
Remember what I said earlier about this game having 3D graphics? Well, the next portion of the level proves my point.
He then has to scale down a windy tower while avoiding bats and rolling barrels. And sometimes the wooden platforms would even dissipate. But I have to say that the tower levels, the other one we'll get to later, is actually amazing for a Genesis platformer. And seeing that it's made by the same developer that would later make Toy Story as well as Sonic 3D Blast, it really is extraordinary to see that effect come to life in a 2D platformer. Anyway, Mickey defeats more skeletons and bats when he then encounters an elevator that takes him to the doctor's lab close to the top floor. While on the elevator, you have to destroy more skeletons and avoid the bones that damage you when you touch them. Normally, you get off the elevator and move on. But the thing is, you must save all the Mickeys from the different cartoons. So here's how to find Mad Dr. Mickey. After getting off the elevator, you have to get back on the elevator as it quickly lifts you to the top floor. After dropping to a dark room and gathering more marbles and hit points, you'll find Mad Dr. Mickey with a light, and just like Steamboat Mickey, he too is shocked to see his future self. So even though we were able to find him, he was...
Yikes, Mickey has found Mad Dr. Mickey, but he didn't stay for long. Continue on.
It will stay for that long. By the way, I love seeing the glow-in-the-dark cartoon eyes in the cartoon. Let me say this again. Nice touch.
Wow.
So after that, Mickey makes his way to the lab as he makes a chemical formula that blows up a barrier and therefore gains access to the Mad Doctor's laboratory.
Makes sense.
I have to point out right now that I love seeing that dot chicken formula drawn onto the chalkboard. Once again, it's a nice touch. And you know what else is awesome? The Mad Doctor boss battle.
Wow.
He can throw red bombs and even red chemicals once he's damaged. Mickey can put damage on him by either throwing marbles at him or simply jumping on him, giving him a good old bop on the head.
Wow.
In my opinion, this is what David Jaffe is most known for in his games. Battles are not only intriguing, but also well thought out. Heck, even Twisted Metal is nothing but battle, except with incredible boss vehicles. Believe me, this game really wants me to see an actual vehicle battle.
In fact, now that I think about it, could you imagine if this game did take place in the Twisted Metal universe? My guess is that it would look like this.
Wow. P.S. and Pluto? I don't know. What is Mickey doing in the Twisted Metal universe? I don't know. Wow, okay. Okay. Oh, man. Stop for a minute. Okay. Wow.
Congratulations, Mickey. You won my contest. Now will you stand before me? Now I understand that you want to relive your career and see how you made an impact around the world for many generations. Is that right?
Yes, Pete.
Well, I should grant your wish of something fierce.
Wow.
Seems Mickey got stuck in limbo, having him trapped in his famous cartoons in the past, but never to return to the real world again. Well, I'm Pete, and I thank you for playing Twisted Mania, whatever that is.
Or something like that.
After defeating the Mad Doctor, Mickey escapes the laboratory as he manages to rescue Pluto in addition to escaping the evil castle. Moving on to the next level, Moose Hunters. It has a nice forest setting to it, like the original cartoon. All you do is simply avoid falling branches and boulders, and even a moose. They don't come completely out of nowhere because Pluto warns Mickey about any incoming moose coming toward their way. The only way to avoid them is to simply jump over them. After a while, Mickey manages to find Moose Hunter Mickey, without even noticing, as well as another moose.
Congratulations, Mickey has found Moose Hunter Mickey, excuse me, spoke anyway. But has also found Moose. Continue on.
This leads to another portion of the level where Mickey is literally running away from a moose. I could be wrong about this, but they may be the same effects used for the tower levels. Not only that, but this also may be the first game where a character is running toward the screen while being chased. But again, I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, you're running away from the moose while jumping over rocks as well as these rivers, which will slow you down when you touch them.
And now, I will read to you all a small but very important passage from this game's manual.
Okay.
To keep ahead of a charging moose, you're going to need energy. So be sure to catch as many green apples as you can, or that angry moose may catch you. The level ends when Mickey crosses the finish line. Next level, Lonesome Ghost.
Okay.
Remember the cartoon from many years ago about a few prankster ghosts that called upon Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, or the Ajax Ghost Exterminators just to scare them?
Grim and Ghost Wild to socialize. Continue on. If you watch this remix, it's like bite for you.
This time the ghost still inhabits the haunted house, but only Mickey is there and not Donald and Goofy. In fact, besides Pluto, none of Mickey's friends ever appear in this game. Anyway, these ghosts come completely out of nowhere, and testing them alone causes you to lose health. Plus, these are not really seen because some of the stairs can turn into ramps. There's also a section where Mickey has to make his way through a flooding hallway while riding on floating barrels and avoid these ghosts riding speedboats. Oh, and did I mention that Mickey can even take a hit while underwater? Because he takes damage while he's underwater. Once that's done, Mickey has to push a table to a flight of stairs while once again avoiding ghosts that throw their hats at you like a boomerang. After avoiding more ghosts via racing platforms, Mickey is able to rescue Lonesome Ghost Mickey and therefore ending the level. On to the next level, Mickey and the Beanstalk, from the 1947 movie, Fun and Fancy Free.
Okay.
Throughout the level, Mickey has to scale a giant vine while avoiding butterflies, dragonflies, beetles, and even tulips that spew out seeds. Not to mention that Mickey can also do some gardening in order for him to progress. He eventually ends up underground as you try to avoid more beetles as well as these baby spiders that pop out of falling egg sacs above you.
Makes
After
sense.
stepping on a switch, you drop to the deepest level underground where you'll encounter an angry spider chasing after you. However, jumping on the ladybug can give you more speed once you get off of it. Or you can end quickly by just standing on the ladybug. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Now this part of the level actually holds a bonus level, and here's how to get it. After climbing up a vine, Mickey has to double jump on the beetle and be sure to get enough height to hit the switch. Then you must jump across these butterflies where you'll find a red question mark surrounded by hit point stars and a Mickey hat for an extra life. However, by jumping into the question mark, you'll be able to trigger the bonus level, the band,
Oh, hang on one sec.
for an extra life. However, by jumping into the question mark,
That's time what to get a secret bonus level. Okay, makes more sense. Continue on.
be able to trigger the bonus level, the band concert.
Okay.
Hey dude, did somebody say bonus level?
Oh, hey, Ash, what's up?
Nothing much. Anyway, I was just wondering if... Uh-oh!
Well.
Is that the bonus level by any chance?
Why, yes, it is. It's based on a short Mickey Mouse cartoon of the same name from 1935.
Wow.
Whoa! So how exactly do you beat this bonus level?
I'm glad you asked that, Hux.
In this level, you have to scale up a tornado by jumping on top of spinning boxes. But here's the catch. You only get one shot at this. If you fall off, you're sent back to the Beanstalk level. However, beating this level not only lets you rescue Band Concert Mickey, but you're also given an extra continue. Really? An extra continue?
Yeah, it does seem like a bit of a letdown.
You know what would have been better?
What's that?
Extra hit points.
Like having both of Mickey's hands for more health?
Yeah, that.
That would be nice, but unfortunately it doesn't happen in this game.
Yes.
Oh well. It would have been nice though.
Yeah, it would have.
Well, anyway, I just wanted to see what's going on. Later, dude!
Okay.
Back at the Beanstalk, you have to climb a giant wooden leg in order to reach the giant's dinner table while avoiding or even destroying these butterflies. Oh, and by the way, Willie the Giant does not appear in this version. He only shows up in the PS1 as a chase level, which is very similar to the Moose Chase in Moose Hunters. While on the giant's table, just make your way through the food and drinks while avoiding or defeating enemies and rescue Beanstalk Mickey opening up a bottle of wine.
Wow.
This leads to the final level of the game, the Prince and the Pauper. The palace actually looks really nice, and it really is gorgeous to look at. But don't be fooled because this level is challenging.
Yep.
First off, you have to swing on these chandeliers in order to reach a staircase that takes Mickey to the library filled with book springs, book platforms, and weasel guards. Yes, these weasel guards are under Pete's orders to guard the castle and prevent Mickey from reaching Pete's tower. And they're loaded with bows and arrows and even knives. After encountering more guards, he manages to rescue Pauper Mickey. But the downside is the prince is being held in the...
Well done. Pauper Mickey has been found, but the prince is held in the dungeon. Continue on.
And once again, Mickey has to defeat more guards as you platform your way to the dungeon. The water level begins to rise, so Mickey has to quickly blow up an inflatable raft in order for him to get to the top. Did I mention that Mickey takes a hit while he's underwater? Anyway, you defeat more guards, ride moving platforms while jumping over rolling spikes, avoid these spears, and ride a platform to the top where you'll be able to find and rescue the prince, who shows you the way to Pete's Tower.
Did I mention this level is challenging? Well, here's where the challenging part begins.
First off, you have to scale to the top of Pete's Tower. Remember the tower level from the Mad Doctor stage? Well, it's pretty much set, except you're going up instead of going down. Not to mention there's fire you have to avoid. But the challenging part isn't over yet. You have to encounter what I think is probably the most challenging auto-scrolling level I've ever witnessed. You have to jump your way to the top while throwing marbles at the guards, which take one hit, by the way. But you still have to mind the fire that quickly rises up, so it's best to take a hit if necessary. So besides having godlike reflexes, it's best to hit as many enemies as possible while trying to jump from platform to platform. Once that's over with, you gain your hit points if necessary, and defeat the guards out of your way while riding these chain ropes. Then you'll be able to enter Pete's Tower, where you'll encounter the biggest and meanest Pete that Mickey's ever.
Yeah. Mickey must face the biggest Pete of all in the Brown Show. Okay, let's continue on.
You called?
Yes, Pete, just in time. I'm about to battle the biggest, meanest version of you that anyone has ever faced.
Ooh, mind if I watch?
Sure, why not?
Oh boy, is this my lucky day.
Anyway, on to the final boss.
The final battle against Pete is somewhat difficult, but it's not as difficult as the auto-scrolling fire level. Not only does Pete have a knife that he throws at Mickey, but also jumping on the floor results in falling shurikens, which Mickey has to dodge. Thankfully, Mickey can attack Pete by pushing spikes to where Pete will ultimately land on. After a few hits to the butt, the level's done, right?
Wow.
Nope, in fact it's hardly even begun. I still have my knife and the falling spikes to my advantage.
Yeah, but you're still at a disadvantage, though.
What?
Allow me to explain.
You see these switches from each side? Well, after you throw your knife at Mickey, which you also have to dodge, you can jump on the sword and hit the switch to release a wrecking ball at your face. But yes, shurikens are much more difficult to dodge. 6 hits to the head later, and you're finally defeated, therefore ending the level as well as the game.
Exactly.
Pardon me, pal.
What is it, Pete?
Is there a certain reference you might want to use?
Not really. Why do you ask?
Well, there is a certain ball with a chain.
Oh, I know what you mean. And no, I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it.
Yep.
Seriously, can you please stop? You're starting to bug me. Okay, fine. I'll do it. What?
Oh boy.
There. Happy now?
That is I'll ever be. Now that your little game is over, what did you think of it?
Actually, before I do, there is a little something I want to show off.
You can actually trigger a level select screen before the game begins. By choosing the sound test and entering a certain combination, be sure to hold left on exit until you hear a ring sound. Then you can go back to the main menu, choose start game, and then you'll be able to access the level select screen.
Okay.
So now will you tell me what you thought of this game?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I actually like this game.
As a platformer, it does the job pretty well. Graphically, it looks amazing, as if I was playing a video game version of these old cartoons from the past. Even seeing the transformation of Steamboat Willie from black and white to color is incredible to look at. I especially love the use of 3D graphics in a 2D game, mostly the tower levels and the moose chase. The music is pretty good too. Not only does it have a Disney vibe to it, but also some of the music was done by Michael Giacchino, who would later win an Oscar for Best Original Score on a Disney Pixar movie many years later. While
Wow.
the gameplay is pretty simple to understand, there are some parts of the game that might be challenging, primarily the auto-scrolling fire level. The controls work really well, and I like how Mickey moves in this game. But in my opinion, the best part about this game is the boss battles. As I mentioned before, it would later become a staple for Japanese games, especially Twisted Metal and God of War. Though the boss battles against Pete were well thought out, it's the Mad Doctor boss that intrigued me the most. Everything from the design, the chalkboard with the formula, the red chemicals and bombs, it's all there. Not to mention that each boss level has a certain amount of stock for marbles or additional hit points, which is very useful when trying to survive. In fact, the game was so successful that
First Cortezia of Game Hunt. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Continue on.
actually going to be a Mickey Mania sequel, with one of the levels being based on Two Gun Mickey. Unfortunately, it ended up being cancelled because of another game project being a tie-in game to the 1995 Disney Pixar movie Toy Story, which I reviewed with Toothpaste Guy last year, among others. Overall, Mickey Mania is a fantastic way to reminisce about some of the classic works of Mickey Mouse. Some of them are actually available on Disney+.
Yeah.
This is one Mickey game I would definitely recommend to any Disney fan, or better yet, any retro gamer for that matter.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. By the way, I didn't catch your name.
Oh, well, I'm the Fairly Odd Gamer.
Fairly Odd Gamer, huh? Well, Mr. Gamer, can I ask just one more question?
Sure, what's up?
Do you think this game should get a remake?
Well, seeing that it almost got a sequel, I can't imagine why not. Or at the very least, a remastered version.
Yes.
That sounds even better. Well, I better get going. But it was fun seeing you play that game, though.
Thanks, Pete. And my pleasure.
So long, gamer.
Well, that was nice of him.
Yep.
Speaking of remakes, did you know that a video game remake was released not too long ago?
Wow.
Blue is based on a widely known cartoon character from a network that we all know and love. Who would that be, you may ask?
SpongeBob! Okay, if you watch this, Lucas the Cool Guy, spew buddy. Continue on.
Yeah, you probably know by this point. I'm the Fairly Odd Gamer, and I wish you all good luck for the rest of your day or night, wherever you are. Take care, everyone.
Quick update. I will be posting a video tomorrow about both the Discord server and the Patreon page. However, you can still support the channel right now by clicking the links in the description below this video. Okay, continue on. Okay, so that was Mickey Mania Fairly Odd Gamer. What do I think about this video? I think it was amazing. Oh, wait. Jim Cummins was the voice of Pete? Okay, cameo. Okay, that makes more sense. Special thanks to everyone who came at Con for making it possible. It makes more sense. Anyway. He made a cameo. Okay. Mickey Mouse is Jacob M. Keane. Okay, makes more sense. Anyway. Oh, Lucas Bradley. Oh, yeah, he's the voice of P in this one. Okay. Makes sense. What I think of this video, I think it was amazing. So far, this video went to be a success. And that was LJPCBM episode number 878. Hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned for the next one. It's going to be LJPCBM episode number... Oh, more Friday? Okay, never mind. Which is also amazing. Anyway. Which is going to be LJPCBM episode number 879. Which is going to be SpongeBob of SquarePants on Fairly Odd Gamer. Now, if you mind, excuse me, I gotta celebrate my stepdad's birthday party, and then coming up next, there will be a brand new episode of Bedtime Stories, episode 200. Till next time, Sue Jefferson, bye, peace out, baby. We get more to react to this episode. Tell us it out. See ya.
Given unto me this life I'll never take for granted, and given all the time I failed to really understand it, I never sought to meet the maker of reality, the one who gave the life that which is always happening, but I tried all the time. I ask, why me? Why was I the one to see things as I do under the moonlight and the sun? Perception holds the key.